In August of 2005, a storm developed in the Atlantic, first as a tropical depression and eventually gained strength as a Category 5 hurricane. It was a destructive force. This storm ranked 6th strongest overall and 3rd strongest to make landfall. This storm left more than 1,800 people dead and left millions of residents displaced. Even more, this storm left hundreds of thousands of Americans unemployed. Americans will never forget this storm. This storm was known as Hurricane Katrina. The National Hurricane Center forecast the potential for devastation for Katrina with precise accuracy. The director of the National Hurricane Center contacts the mayor of New Orleans and let him know the severity of the storm, and also contacts President Bush. This brought about evacuation orders. Initially, voluntary evacuation orders were issued, but eventually, mandatory evacuation orders were issued. President Bush made a televised appeal for Gulf Coast residents to heed the evacuation orders, warning the dangers of the nearby communities. Many people gambled with their lives by refusing to evacuate. This refusal could have been stemmed from financial limitations or just the feeling that their homes were sufficient protection from the storm. In New Orleans, city buses were used to haul people from their homes to shelters of last resort. One major shelter was the Louisiana Superdome. Other shelters were the Coliseum and the Convention Center. Katrina left devastation among the city of New Orleans. Because the average elevation of New Orleans is between 1 and 2 feet below sea level, and in some areas it's as much as 7 feet below sea level, it puts New Orleans at a particular risk of flooding amongst a major storm. A levee system was built as a shield from potential floodwaters. This levee system covered 350 miles around the city. During Katrina, storm surge caused catastrophic failure to the federally designed and built levee systems, flooding 80% of the city. The primary cause of flooding in New Orleans were inadequate design and construction by the Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers is the world's largest public engineering, design, and construction management company. It consists of 38,000 military and civilian personnel. After the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927, the Congress mandated the Corps of Engineers as the federal agency responsible for design and construction of flood protection projects, to include Greater New Orleans. When Hurricane Katrina struck New Orleans, this levee project was only 60 to 90% complete. Local authorities were expected to maintain these levee systems. However, their negligence caused the breaching of levees in some areas. The death toll reached more than 1,500 people. This was more than 6 times the death toll in the whole Gulf Coast areas combined. The effects of Katrina on other coastal areas was also devastating. Florida was the first place that Katrina made landfall as a hurricane. It formed in the Bahamas as a tropical depression and developed into a Category 1 hurricane at landfall. Rainfall exceeded 14 to 16 inches in some parts of Florida, and a storm surge of 3 to 5 feet. Damage was estimated at $1 to $2 billion and left many people without power. There was additional damage in Key West, totaling $5 billion. The death toll for the entire state reached 14. Mississippi suffered major damage. All 82 counties were declared disaster areas. 238 people died in Mississippi as a result of Katrina, and 67 people remain missing. Billions and billions of dollars in damaged bridges, barges, boats, piers, and cars left Mississippi suffering. 8 to 10 inches of rainfall was reported, and storm surges as high as 27 feet penetrated inland Mississippi. After Katrina left its mark, the United States economy and well-being was heavily damaged. Thousands of reports of looting, violence, and other criminal activity was reported. Many looted in order to get the necessary essentials that were not available by any other means. Most of this occurred in the stranded areas of New Orleans. The economic effects were greater than many would have imagined. Over $100 billion were needed for repairs and reconstruction. 9 oil refineries were destroyed, which made a negative economic impact worldwide. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA's, action during the Katrina cleanup were controversial to say the least, and today its reputation isn't any better. In January of 2012, FEMA sent notices to 83,000 aid recipients asking them to reimburse FEMA an average of $4,600 each. New Orleans levy. On the plus side, New Orleans levee and water control system have been steadily improved by upgrading pumps with backup generators. Gates have been installed at critical canals to help block water from entering the city during storm surges. Hopefully, New Orleans and other coastal areas will be prepared for another major storm such as this one.